So Crisp, a tasty bite-sized podcast that serves business, bravery, branding, beauty, sex, love, motherhood, womanhood, feminism, labels, psychology, marketing, messaging, mavenry, musicals, and the mess we call life. All deliciously dished up and ready to consume. In fact, is there anything we don't discuss? Not with J. Crisp Crow, copywriting queen from Crisp Copy in the kitchen. I hope you're hungry. This episode is brought to you by the Crisp Copy class, part course, part community and all class. Join smart, funny, brilliant businesswomen and me, I'm in there too, and learn to write your own website and email copy with style. Now today we have Shilpa, and it is my job as So Crisp podcast organiser to ask everybody when they come into the So Crisp podcast, what is your favourite word?
Hey everybody. Hi Jay. Thanks for having me. So, Jay, I don't know what to say for this question because, I'm a classic Leo and overindulgent person. Like I really like grandiose, whatever the word is, like you're the expert. And I truly believe more is more. So I've shied away from owning that. And, I'm like, oh my God, the whole world is saying less is more. I've got a lot of favorite words. But today I would choose. The thing is, we have to give ourselves the permission, right? To be naturally who we are. I so believe that. I love that you've said that. And I think one of the things that I used to tone down a lot when I started in business was this kind of bubbly, super excited about everything. Yeah.
I felt like it wasn't professional and that I had to be a more stripped back version of Jay and giving myself permission to be all of Jay all of the time is so liberating. And so I've completely interrupted you. Sorry about that.
No, but this is the kind of conversation we're going to have, right? Like, the question is just the prompt and then the juice starts flowing. So what was I going to say?
Hopefully loads of things, all of your favorite words. No, I think I love that you were, if I took like the standard of the first person to actually pitch to appear on this podcast rather than all the people that I kind of wrangled in to trust me enough, the fact that you were the first person to actually pitch to be on this podcast, I think sets the standard for everyone else. No pressure.
Wow. This is one more thing, and like absolutely my honor, but we've got to get over the, what can I say, like the meaningless beliefs and the conditioning that we've picked up in our growing up years, that if I approach her, then I will be seen as needy. Or if I approach her, then I will be seen as, not in demand or whatever. There can be so many.
I was just so honored that you trusted me that it would be. And it was funny because when I was kind of making a couple of notes about what I find fascinating about you, I wrote, "Thank you for trusting me. It would be enough." And I thought, oh, that so fits with what we're going to talk about today. But I love that, like it I didn't feel we know that I didn't feel that you were needy or not in demand.
I know.
I was so honored that you thought that it would be interesting for this audience to consider your perspectives about this super interesting concept of enoughness, and that oftentimes when you say to somebody, "Hey, I can help you," especially in business, you do them such a great favor.
Absolutely.
When people pitch to me for stuff, I'm like, oh, thank you for allowing me the space to go and do something else rather than hunt you down now.
Absolutely. And, likewise, the feelings were like mutual, because when you said, oh, that'll be awesome, I was like, oh my God, I feel so respected. I feel valued. They trust me enough to have me on her podcast. So the thing is, guys, like, so coming back to the question, my favorite word these days and for this episode will be enoughness. And I want you to remember that you are always enough, and the whole world is thinking about themselves. Like when I pitched to be on the podcast, Jay was thinking what it means for her. And when I was accepted, I was thinking what it means for me. So, just speak up, speak your mind, be yourself.
I love that. So when obviously lots of women come to choose kind of labels or words or messaging that fits with where they're currently at in their lives because they've gone through a period where they've decided that they're going to either take on somebody else's concept of whether they're good enough, talented enough, smart enough, pretty enough, or not.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get to this point where enoughness became kind of your mantra and something that you want to spread in the world?
Wow, thank you for asking this question, Jay, because, it's my opportunity to share a very, what can I say, the wake up call of my life.
Mm.
And it was like, it happened when I was least expecting it, like wake up calls and purpose, like great downloads and all these kind of beautiful things happen when you're just willing to listen to your intuition. You're just willing to listen to the message that's coming to you. And I'm not talking woo stuff here, but just like, listen to your heart, whatever that means for you. I mean, whatever's your chosen medium. So it just happened a couple months ago, less than a couple months ago, Jay. It was like a beautiful autumn afternoon, and I felt like going for a run. And I am not a walker, forget a runner, So I wanted to go for a run, and I told my husband, hey, I feel like going for a run. He's like, yeah, go for it. And I'm like, oh, no resistance. He didn't stop me. How's that? And then I stopped myself because I did not give myself the permission to do something for myself while my child was at school, because we think our children are, like really suffering in school, like when we are sending them away from us. But, all they're having is a party, right? So, so I told my husband, you know what, I'll do this with Arya, my girl, when she comes back. So I'll go for a bit of a walk with her. But, that day she was so tired, she just came home and went off for a nap. So I canceled my walk and run, whatever. The next morning, again, the urge was so strong, it was a nudge from the universe, which if I did not answer, it would move on and it would find someone else to manifest itself,
Mm-hmm.
And this is an inspiration from Big Magic. Have you?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So that butterfly was kind of coming and sitting on me again and again. And that morning, the first couple of hours, I tried denying that something's happening inside me, and I was like, okay, what do? I feel like marketing in Facebook groups. Oh no, but I feel like reading a book. Oh, but I must listen to an audiobook. I think I must just journal. So these were the 4 options.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of kept me stuck and paralyzed. And I ended up doing nothing for those 2 hours until finally at 10:30ish somewhere, I told my husband again, hey, you know what? I really feel like going for a run. He's like, go. And something, just his response and absolute zero resistance hit me so hard. I had tears in my eyes, and I'm like, I'm expecting the world. I'm expecting resistance out there. I'm expecting my life to be hard. How can it be so easy for me? How can my husband not stop me that, Shilpa, this is business time. Your daughter's at school. You're not allowed to do anything for yourself. You can't go for a run now. You should have woken up at 6 o'clock. You should have done this. So those were my rules for myself. Those were me saying that I'm not good enough to go for a run unless I've met certain criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. And that was me feeling that I have not allowed myself to feel enough.
Or to do enough, because I think it's such a metaphor for the way that women, I always speak about women.
Especially moms.
Yeah, especially mums. I've been challenged a couple of times by men that I've met at networking events, and where I've, taught something to do with copywriting, and men have come up afterwards and said, why do you not think that men do this? And I'm like, well, I've never been a man, so I can only speak from this experience.
Yeah.
And because I work with women, there's a lot of observation about, when somebody says something and everyone else goes, oh my goodness, I do that too. Why do I do that? But it's so similar. Like, we think that we can't launch a business because this was me. I don't have enough. I didn't finish my degree because I had a baby. I don't have a journalism degree. I'm not good enough to start a business and call myself a copywriter. And then when I started being invited to speak places, it's the most ridiculous thing. And if you know me now, you would laugh. But I was like, well, I can't do that until I lose 20 kilos because I'm not skinny enough to stand on a
I've
stage.
been there,
It's
Jay.
so ridiculous.
The weight problem has been like my story as well. So I really resonate with that aspect,
Mm. But it's not true.
It's not true, right? It's totally bullshit, It's
and sometimes the no amount of talking to ourselves in our head is going to prove that to us. Sometimes I say to women and to myself, you actually have to turn up and do it, disbelieving before you prove to yourself that you're enough to do it. So you have to go in thinking and knowing, because you know that you're not good enough. And then you do it and you're like, oh, I was wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so it was in that moment where, and, like my biggest fear more than anything else was, what will they think of me? The they monster, Jay, like the world, they, like they will think they.
Who are these people that just go around daying?
I know. So it was like, I cannot do a run at this time, or else they'll think I'm not serious about my business because I'm just having a beautiful run when I should be marketing, right? And then, finally, thankfully, Jay, that day I did go for the run. So I really kind of overcame the struggle. There was this really intense tug of war inside me, tears flowing, and I was like, I have to do this. Because I found myself saying, Shilpa, you might as well work for a boss who treats you like a slave and keeps you under 10,000 rules, right? Why are you in business? Why are you doing this? If you can't allow yourself to do whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do. And anybody who's been in business for more than a hot minute knows that going for a run or taking a walk or having a nap or having a lunch with a friend or just getting on Zoom with somebody that and having a quick chat, that's not building your business, because that's exactly the thing that you need to give your brain the space to have a new idea. You can't have nobody has amazing good new ideas when they're slogging themselves, whipping themselves half to death working on client work. That doesn't happen. You have them when you have a shower or you're driving or you listening to music, and then you're like, oh, that's the thing. How did I miss that before when I was trying so hard to think about it?
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened, So when I came back from the run, I was like, oh my God, words are running out of me. I have to catch them on paper. So I just opened the journal and I just went, writing. And what came out of me was along the lines of, you are enough. Your story is enough. And, then I put it in perspective with what I do. Perspective of what I do, which is helping people write books.
Yeah.
And I could see why so many people don't write books, even though the story inside them is begging to be born, begging to be shared. Because, I don't have professional photos enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not fat enough. I'm not sexy enough. I'm not wealthy enough. I don't have clients enough.
No one will be. I was walking through Dalesford yesterday in Melbourne, which is such a beautiful place.
No.
Oh my goodness.
We've caravanned. Yeah. So we've been there.
So pretty. And I was just like, oh, a bit of my heart is here. I'm almost regretful we went, because I will never stop thinking about wanting. Everywhere that I travel, I'm buying real estate suddenly. I'm desperate to live there. And I actually really love my house and where I live, so I don't know why I do that. But I was walking with this woman who has been writing this book in her head for I don't even know how many years, and it is the best concept. She's the best person to tell the story. And I said to her, why haven't you started? And she said, because in my head, when I wrote the book, I would be at the end of the journey, and I'm not yet. And I was like, but your entire story is about the journey. The perfect time to publish it is when you're still on it, because the best thing is that you get round two. If you ever end up at that perfect place, you get to write the rest of the story. The world needs to hear that now, not when you think you're done.
Yep. Totally. And the thing is, enoughness it's something that the world will never give you the permission. If you're waiting for the world to come and recognize you and say, hey Shilpa, you've earned it. Now you're totally an authority on book writing.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen. I have to make a decision that, okay, I'm stepping up, I'm owning it, I'm like the best person for coaches and consultants to write their book with, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about giving yourself the permission and saying, yes, whether there have been 10 books come out of my publishing house or 100 books,
Mm-hmm.
I am good enough. Like, the money I have made in my business is not an indicator of my self-worth,
Mm-hmm.
or how good I am. Like, how can I suddenly become a good human being or good enough after I've made $1 million and be bad when I've not? Like,
Yes, yeah. Your
so
actual
weird.
worth doesn't change
Yeah,
depending on the number that's associated with it. And most of the time only you know the number. Nobody else knows the
exactly.
number.
And even if people know, right? Because there's so many ways of like the world
Mm-hmm.
estimating your worth based on, like, your website, your clients, your testimonials, whatnot, right? Like, but if we start thinking of what they will think, what will they think?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. My little brain's going tick, 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 tick. I'm like, Jay, remember to talk. I love it.
Right?
I love
So
it. Yeah.
please, leave their thinking for them and you do yours, and life will be so much easier, right?
Mm. So lots of women feel like there's a book inside them, or they start to feel like that when women that they associate with and spend time with say, oh my goodness, you should write that down. There's a story in that. I would love to read a story like that. Or my friend would need to read something like that. What do you think is the first step that people should take?
Wow. Okay. So the first step is just open an Evernote or a Word doc or whatever and just jot down something. And, the biggest obstacle that, stops people, like, from even starting is, uh, it's drama. It's unconscious drama. They're not aware they're doing this, but their mind, their brain is trying to keep them safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the brain brings up this real legitimate fear of, oh my God, yes, you have this one story, but how will you, what can I say, elaborate to the point of 40,000 words? That's a lot. You cannot do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the brain strategy is to, it's creating fear only to create two results. That is to keep you alive,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're alive, to make you feel loved,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you remind yourself in whatever it is that you want to achieve, especially like, when you're wanting to write a book and you're not able to get started and your brain's paralyzing you in fear,
Mm-hmm.
just remind yourself, I am alive and I'm loved, and the brain will calm down. It's going to just, sit back and relax and say, okay, just tell it like, I've got this. I know you're trying to keep me safe. That's good.
There's no saber-toothed tiger that's going to jump out and eat me because I started writing the book.
I
And
know
that's what we're doing, right? We're in that kind of survival mode, because if we listen to that fear, then we stay safe, nothing changes, and when nothing changes, we're most comfortable with where we're at.
And like, so the brain's just doing its job. It's just trying to keep you alive, and it has forgotten that there's no tigers right now. Like, it's not a relevant. So the thing is, I'm going to just add a little bit of general mindset stuff, like, which is really important for you to remember. When you're kind of getting prompts and when you're getting that temptation to start writing or to write it, because that's your intuition, right? And what, like, I would die to have a sharper intuition. I would, do anything to have a more stronger intuition. So the thing is, you always have been intuitive. You've got this intuition all along. And intuition is what, I just had this aha yesterday, so I have to share this. And intuition is an inner tuition. So it's an answer that's coming from within you. And sometimes that answer is in the form of fear, like, stay safe, don't do this, you'll die. But just put in your intelligence there and say, okay, is this really relevant? No, I'm not in a forest. I'm in a house. I'm just with my computer. I'm not going to die. I can do it.
Yeah.
So we mix fear for intuition and intuition for fear.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. I think the other thing that this, you might find this too, because of obviously the type of writing that we coach people to do probably looks from the outside as very different. But I think a lot of the stuff that I work with women on, it's not that they don't have the words. It's not that they don't know what to say. What they're missing is the confidence to write it on a piece of paper. And a lot of the time, the story that they tell themselves in their head is that it has to look like a university essay. It has to have a beginning, it has to have a middle, and it has to have an end.
Yeah.
And that's true in the end, but you don't have to start at the beginning. If the part of the story that's like leaping out of your fingertips to be written down is the guts, is the middle, then no one watches over your shoulder and says, oh no, we're definitely not going to publish you because you started your story in the middle.
Totally.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You just write. Just write. It's that easy.
It is, and there was something so beautiful I was going to say, but it's all juice. Yeah, what you said had to be said. Oh, it will come to me. No worries.
Okay. So if I had to ask you, what are the 3 key things that we have to keep in mind as women who have stories that are like burning inside us and waiting for us to listen to the little butterfly that sits on our shoulder that says, do the thing. What are the 3 things that we should keep in mind when we're thinking about enoughness and about being enough to tell this story?
Okay, so I would say enoughness is all that we need. Mm-hmm. And this is coming from a very indulgent person. Like, I always like to have more than enough. And I'm working on that pattern. Like, I'm not saying I like to hoard stuff. I have been a hoarder in the past, and I practiced my, indulgence in things. But it's now that I'm coming to, a place where I can say I'm indulging in words and in feelings and expression and, those kind of things. So I'm not restricting myself to one word.
Lovely.
So enoughness is all we need. And the thing that I was going to say earlier was, and this is the second thing, the second key, is that your enoughness will not reveal itself on a perfect day. It's in the most uncomfortable moments that your enoughness is dying, like it's waiting for you to stay the course and not back out and not go back to your comfort zone because it's too hard where you're right now. Because if you just keep walking and 2 steps later, enoughness is waiting to meet you. Like that's your ultimate, that's the meeting with your never-ending sense of self-worth.
Oh, isn't that so tempting?
It is, right? I know. Just
we're so close, and we're just too chicken to go.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the third thing?
So the third thing is, I think what I did mention earlier, that the permission to be and feel enough and more than enough, and be known as the authority in whatever it is that you do, or for your story to be validated. It's not going to come from outside, guys. It's going to come from within.
I absolutely agree with you about that. And we prove that to ourselves when there are people around us that are telling us that we're wonderful, but because we don't yet let ourselves believe it, we don't do all the things that we should be doing. We don't step up.
And I'm just going to add something over here. Like the thing is, perfection just now came to my mind, and that was something I wanted to say earlier. The more perfect we're trying to portray ourselves as, the more it's pushing away people from working with us. Because like if I see a mentor out there whose life is like so perfect, it's going to make me feel less than human, less than enough. And I won't have the guts to reach out to her.
Yeah. Or you'll think, what could she offer me? She doesn't know what pain and struggle is. Yeah.
I don't think she would even work with me because I'm so messed up. So the thing is, when you step into your enoughness, there's so many bonuses. Like you get courage, clarity, creativity, like all these things just, ever since I've had that experience, I just don't know, the way I show up on Facebook and everywhere is so different. I feel like a whole new human being, like very different. Yeah. So the more you're trying to make your story or perfect, or the more you're trying to project yourself as perfect, it's only pushing away your ideal clients from you, because they need to see you are, you do make mistakes, you are not flawless, so they don't fear the judgment when they come to you.
Lovely. So that enoughness also has a lovely big juicy dose of imperfection in it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
you know what, Jay, I have to say this, just like 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine who has got nothing to do with like coaching and all, she's a very, very professional in corporate. She said, Shilpa, what the hell is going on? What are you talking about? What's this enoughness about? Are you like planning of becoming a hermit in the mountains? So that was that's exactly what enoughness is not. So enoughness does not restrict you from having anything. You can have $1 million and still be like, you don't have to, live a, what can I say, plain,
Strip anything away.
you don't have to not enjoy materialism. You don't have to not enjoy money, not enjoy luxuries. It's not at all about the physical stuff. It's about what you feel inside. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love talking to you. Thank you so much for coming and speaking to me. I love that we recorded it so that everybody else can benefit, but I feel a lightness. I feel like we've had a little J session, and I feel, I'm feeling a bit selfish. I'm really enjoying it.
Right? I know we could go on, but some things must take a bit of a pause, and then
just fabulous. Thank you so much. Before we do wrap up, I'd love you to tell us what is so crisp in your life right now. What wonderful things do you have going
on? What's crisp? So really, the enoughness is the crispy bit. And what's going on in my life? Also, the fun thing that's happening is I have put myself on a 365 Facebook Live series, and I started on the 1st of May. So it's just been 7 days. Like I'm yet to do my day 7 video today. I just can't wait to get to day 365.
Commitment. Good job. That's proper. Most of us are like 10 days. I can do it.
You know what? Can I let you in on a secret, Jay? Like I've done 3 30-day challenges, like for one in 2016, 17, and 18 each. And you know what? In the spirit of enoughness, I have to reveal this on recording that I have never completed that 30-day challenge. That's me, like the impatient, hyperactive, hyper energetic Leo. Like, can't wait to, why is day 1 not day 30? That's me. So I would go till day 25 and then maybe skip day 26. Or I would go till day 29 and then not do 30 and 31 at all. Or, I've done these mistakes. I was like, how does it matter? Who's seeing? Who's watching the videos? No one comes with me. No one comes, hangs out with me anyway. So I don't think they're waiting for me, and it's okay if I don't show up. So I've done that. And still, this is so different. I know. I don't even want to and there's all possibilities. I may or may not finish the 365-day challenge, but there's an inner knowingness, right, that I will do it. And I'm not doing it to prove anything to anyone this time. It's just for my expression, because I know there's so much I have to share. I might as well just go live and share it with the world rather than just like talk in my head.
Absolutely. And then why stop at 365 days?
I know.
You can't just have one. You're Shilpa. You should be allowed to have as many as you want.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I might just keep videoing all my life from now onwards. So yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So that's the one thing. And the second thing is, through this through the 365 video series, I'm actually spreading a lot of awareness about, just looking at book writing from all the possible angles, like, what stops people, what's the fun, what goes on behind it. And I'm starting a 12-week mastermind, which is called Author Mind. So six coaches will be able to write their books with me together in a community, like in a group. Perfect. But they're all going to have 6 books, so it's not like a contribution book. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be 6 authors, 6 books, 6 months, and these authors are going to enter 2020 with their books in their hand.
How exciting!
So, I know, that's the most exciting.
It's just 2 steps away. 2020 is 2 steps away.
It is.
It's just waiting there for you. Oh, I'm pretty tempted. We might have to chat some more after we finish recording.
Let's do that. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this has been so crisp. My special tasty guest has been Shilpa Agarwal from Book Writing, who is a book writing and marketing mentor. Shilpa helps coaches, consultants, spiritual healers, and practitioners to own their worth and their enoughness, so they can write their book and share their story, a story that can change hearts, minds, and lives. Shilpa, may your day be crisper than a Granny Smith apple. Thank you so much for being here on So Crisp.
I love it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to So Crisp with copywriter, copy coach and consultant J. Crisp Crow. If you've loved this episode, get all the juicy details and links at crispcopy.com.au/podcast. Make sure you never miss a bite by subscribing to So Crisp wherever you get your podcasts. Want to help us spread the deliciousness? Rate and review this show and share with your mates. Remember, if there's a copy question you want nibbled at, email me straight away right now.